Hello and welcome to the Newsmakers podcast presented by the Tippecanoe Gazette. We are in our new space and I'm very excited to have guests on today in the new space, but we're going to switch it up a little bit on this episode and I'm going to get interviewed. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm excited to be in our new space and it's coming along. It's quite large and full of boxes and but it's fun.
Yeah, I have to say, I love this new area. Do you want to share what made you pick this space?
Yes. So we're actually located on North 4th now and not quite in the downtown. We were in the downtown in your building, in the Monroe Township building, and I didn't like those stairs. I really did not like going up and down those stairs every day. So I started looking for some space to move to. Also, the heat was too hot in there and I couldn't take it.
Couldn't take the heat.
Get out of the kitchen. That's what they say. But it was just too much and I couldn't take it. So I started looking around and this was not for rent. And he showed me a bunch of, Travis from Dolly Packaging, showed me some office space they have down there in their main building. And I kept asking, well, what about upstairs? Do you have anything industrial? And he's like, yeah, but it's dirty. So we came down the second floor. It's a big warehouse space where they're assembling things. And then we came up here and it was just stacks and stacks of cardboard boxes all the way to the ceiling on pallets. And I'm like, what if I rent the front half of that? And he's like, really? So it's been a couple months, but yeah, we're all in here now and we've got a little podcasting studio. I've got a nice office, got a big conference room area. We've got a couple little stages to record YouTube stuff. And then I have a work in progress photography studio and a nice area for the staff for the newspaper to sit and work.
Okay.
It is not open to the public. That's the other thing.
Speaking of tours, I think we should have a Frank Harper tour. So let's get into that.
Frank Harper, who's that?
Why don't you share who Frank Harper is?
Yes. So I am also a writer and I've written a bunch of books. And
that's it.
One thing I decided to do with this new office space is consolidate all of my stuff into one area. So now I have a nice big bookshelf that's like my store. And it's got all the copies I have of all of my books. And
okay, but Mr. Enslen, how are people going to come in and purchase your book if it's not open to the public?
It's not open to the public, no. That's where I ship everything out of when people order stuff. So if somebody does want to buy a book, they can buy them online and I'll ship it to them.
Okay, and if you have not read the Frank Harper series, this is one series that I'm going to tell you.
Okay, well tell me what you think about it.
You need to read.
Okay, I think other people agree.
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know. Do they agree? I don't know.
I don't know, but I will tell you, when I first got this job, pretty new to Tipp City, one of the first things that I did is I read the Frank Harper series, and I laid at the swimming pool and I read and I read and I read. I couldn't put it down.
Well, thank you.
It's very well written.
Wow. But you have to say that.
No, I don't.
Okay, never mind.
Why do I have to say that?
I get that from people. They come up and tell me they like my books. And then I'm like, they don't have to say that. They could just avoid me.
Oh, if I didn't like it, I would probably tell you.
Oh, this sucks. This is so bad.
I'd say, hey, I think you need to do this different.
This is wrong. You're just wrong. Don't do that.
No, I do. I really like it. And, I'm not through with the last book yet.
Good.
Because I've had a lot going on at my other job. And
have you?
I have.
It's been crazy. I don't know what's going on this winter, but it's just been, I was just talking to somebody at Chaffee's when I went in to get my sandwich.
Chaffee's or Chaffee's?
I don't know. I call it Chaffee's.
I call it Chaffee's.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think they call it Chaffee's, so I'm just doing that to be different, I guess. But the lady said this is the worst winter she could remember in a long time. And I'm like, why? But why? It feels like a horrible winter.
Right.
Like everybody's been sick and everybody's been cross and unhappy, but I can't really put my finger on why it's bad, but it just seems like it's been worse than normal, and I don't know why.
Maybe the frigid cold. I don't like cold.
Yes, it has been too cold.
Yeah.
Far, far, far too cold.
All right. Well, we're getting way too far off the topic. We are talking about Frank Harper.
Yes, we are. So I have a book series. It's called the Frank Harper Mysteries series, and it's 5 books, and the 6th one is out soon.
Soon. So it's not out yet.
No, I just talked to the publisher yesterday. The book's done. It's with them with the printers, but they're still doing all like the setup and all that kind of stuff. Cover's done, interior's all done. They have to lay it all out, and then once they hit print, then they'll print up a bunch of copies and ship them to me, and then I'll have them.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, so right now what people need to do is if they want to get started and they are somebody like me and you have to read from start to finish.
Yes.
They need to right now get on there and get A Field of Red.
Yes.
That is the first book of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, it drew me in because immediately I was like, whoa, I think he's talking about Tipp City.
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to share about how Frank Harper is kind of based on Tipp City?
It is. It is. Well, I wrote 3 books before. I wrote one that's a serial killer book called The Blackbird.
Hopefully not from Tipp City.
Not from Tipp City, no. But he does get mentioned in book The Yellow One.
Okay.
Because my Frank Harper, my main character, he does cold cases, and he's researching some cold cases, and that's one of the cold cases he talks about.
Oh, I didn't know about that little tie-in.
Yeah, they all tie together, sort of. And then I wrote Ghost of Blackwood Lane, which is set in St. Louis, and Blackbird set in Virginia, and then 9/11 set in D.C. mostly. And my publisher, I got a publisher, and she picked all those up and started publishing them. And I said, what do you think I should write next? And she said, write a series. And I said, I don't want to write a series. And she said, well, if you write a series, it's nice and easy because every book starts out kind of already, like you don't start from scratch every time.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So I wrote the first one, and I lived here in Tipp, and I thought, this is a cute town. I like this town. Let's use this town as like the basis of where this takes place, but I'll change enough stuff so that I don't get like sued, and also so I can like kill people off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Move things around and add stuff. So in my books, like the Coldwater Cafe downtown, the one right on the corner, is like a pizza place by the slice place.
Yeah. And Harrison's and Tony's are both different names.
Yeah, most of the things have different names, but a lot of the stuff is in the same place. So like Kyle Park is Kyle Park, and Broadway School is Broadway School, and that first book starts off at Broadway Elementary and Kyle Park and a bunch of other real locations set in town. So one of them is the Burwell building. Is that the name of that building? The tall, skinny glass house.
Where we had the historic home tour?
Yes. You guys had the historic home tour.
That building is amazing.
One of the bad guys lives there.
Oh, man.
And he's like looking out.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. But I guess I didn't realize that you were talking about the Burwell building.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
I couldn't use the name of the actual
Mox,
place.
actually.
No, because
of the big windows.
He's standing in his windows and he's looking out over Tony's.
Yeah.
So he can see Tony's from his windows. So that's that place. But yeah, I like the idea of having real world locations that people can kind of like figure out. Like I don't want to make it obvious, so I don't use the real names for everything. But some stuff is obvious, like Kyle Park. But it's really fun, and actually, I've gotten compliments on this on Amazon. So my books are available on Amazon. Go purchase.
Right now, go
do it right now. And then people comment, and that Field of Red has 1,700 reviews. It's insane.
It's a great book, and it really captures you. And I remember reading it and thinking, "Oh my goodness, did this actually happen in Tipp City?" I cannot wait to finish.
It all happened.
Did it really? No, it didn't. Because I remember asking you, and you're like, "No, that didn't happen."
None of it
happened. Thank goodness, because I think I would have heard of that.
I like the mix of fake and real. That's kind of fun. It's like a Da Vinci Code kind of. Have you read those books? Those are really good.
Yeah.
And they're set in real world locations with fictional stuff, and that's the kind of stuff I like. But the first one, it got real popular, and then people would comment on Amazon and say things like, "Your little town is so realistic," and I'm like, "That's because I'm cheating."
Because we live in a storybook town.
It is a little Hallmark town. It really
know.
is, and very rarely do people get murdered. Very rarely. It doesn't happen as much as you would think it should, or does, or would, but no. So then that book was really popular, and then my publisher, she's like, "Okay, where's the next one?"
Right.
So then it's like, oh, okay, now I have to figure out how to do it. So I tried to make my main character flawed and kind of like a drunk and but that's such a cliche, like a cop who's a drunk,
Right.
So I tried to make him get better, and then I and then he got worse, and then he got better, and
Oh, so you mean it's like real life stuff?
Yeah, he's dealing with a lot, and he's struggling with a lot. In the first few books, he's dealing with a bunch of like horrible memories that he has from all this stuff that happened to him in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
So then he deals with all that. So it's kind of like a real person, you know. He has like ups and downs, and he has trauma that he's dealing with, and then he gets over that, and then new bad things happen.
Right? Always. Frank always has something going on.
This last book 6, he's going through it. I tell you, they say if you want your characters to be interesting, though, is you put them through the ringer.
Yeah.
And he gets put through the ringer in this new book.
I have a feeling things are about to get interesting in this book.
Things are bad for him. I feel bad for him, and he gets cocky.
Oh,
when he drinks too much, he gets cocky, and it gets him in a lot of trouble. Oh no, that means
he's drinking again.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He just
moved out of his daughter's house. That's where I'm at.
Okay, yeah, no, it's about to get bad.
Okay,
really bad. But there is a scene in that book that's set in the secret conference room in the basement of the library.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do. Is I like to put real world weird tip stuff in there.
What book did they get murdered in the basement? Or what book did you reveal to the world about our secret hidden basement in Tipp City?
The Sugden's secret garage. That's the green one. That's book 5.
Yeah.
They have a shootout, and they run down into the basement of Sugden's. And if you haven't been there in Tipp City, there's a furniture store called Sugden's, and it's right on the corner of 4th and Main. And it's it has these giant windows. And you're like, why does this furniture store have giant windows? And it used to be a car dealership.
Yeah.
And the guy would park his cars in the big windows, and people would walk by and peruse the cars. But if you go in, if you ask nicely, they might take you down there. I don't know. But if you go in, there's a driveway that goes down underneath the furniture store, and there's 30 or 40 cars down there. So they use it now for car storage.
You know, actually.
But it's very creepy.
That building turns 100 years old this year.
It does.
It does. And in June, we're going to have a little speakeasy down in that basement.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
That's cool. I should bring my books down there.
You should. You definitely should.
They should set up a table. Why is he down here? Creepy guy in the basement. Well, because part of this book takes place right here.
Yes, a very important part.
A very important part. But no, it's fun to write the books, and then I try to have some interesting side characters, and then sometimes I kill them off.
Right.
And then people get mad at me because they kill people off.
Okay, who is Joe based off of? I need to know this.
Nobody's based off of anybody.
That is not true.
It's all fake. It's all fake.
One of these days, I'm going to get you to tell me who Joe is.
There aren't not people that are real world people that I know now that are based on characters of the book that get killed. Is that your
disclaimer? Because the very first thing that I read in this new book is, oh my gosh, I know who he's talking about.
Oh no! See, you surprised me on that because I did not know any of that. I'm making stuff up, and then
it comes true.
It comes true in the real world, and I'm like, okay, that's bizarre. That's bizarre. But no, it's fun. I enjoy writing this series, so I plan on 10 books in the series, and I kind of have it all mapped out of where it's going to end up, and I kind of have the ending figured out for the last book. But there's a bunch of like open loops is what I call them. It's stuff that still needs to get like addressed and resolved. So I have a list of Frank's open loops that he needs to like deal with before he can move on.
Yeah. You know, if I ever get more time, I might just be like, hey, Greg, let's partner up, because I would love to write the Frank Harper series from his daughter's perspective.
Yeah, I like his daughter.
I actually thought about that. I forget which book it was, but I was like, you know what? I've lived a lot of the stuff she's going through.
God,
I could
mind.
write from this perspective.
I don't want that. That's bad. We don't want too much trauma.
No, it would make it all happy.
I was thinking, if I finish these 10 and then I don't, and I miss it, I might come back to it. But I'm starting a new series now that I'm very excited about.
Oh, what's that about?
I can't tell you.
Not anything.
It's conspiracy theories and drama and weird terrorist organizations and people like kidnapping people. It's like an action adventure military kind of like series. I'm very excited about it. I've been working on it since 2000. So
oh wow.
I need to start it or just stop talking about it.
Gotcha.
But no, that's going to be a new series that's coming out hopefully this year.
So do you feel like a lot of people in Tipp City realize that their local council person is also such a celebrated author?
I don't know. I did get stopped at the dinner Monday night twice by 2 different people saying, where's the new book? So I guess people are curious.
Yeah.
They want to know where. They're going to pound the table like that.
Well, I think once people read the series and they start it's so hard to not just get drawn into and want to know what happens next. And that is
thank you.
Obviously a testament to your writing, because we all know if you start reading a book and it's like, you're not going to keep going.
No, I give books 50 pages. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And if they don't have me by 50, then I'm like, thank you. You did a great job, but it's just not my thing. And I move on. There's not enough time in the day to catch up with everything that I need to do. And it's just like, I'm not going to waste my time on. So if you like it, I'm glad.
Yeah, I do. And I will say that if people have not read the Frank Harper series yet and they want to start with the new book when it comes out, I know when you gave it to me to read, it had been a while since I had finished the 5th book, and I was really worried I wasn't going to be able to pick it back up, but I didn't. I started reading and it all just flooded back in my brain. I remembered it all. So
this one's a weird one. The green one is and the new one, the Scarlet, they overlap. Like there's a chapter at the very end of the green one that's like the 4th or 5th chapter of the new book.
Yeah.
Because I kind of go back a month or two. So there's some overlap there, and where Frank's like at the airport and he's seeing the character off from the 5th book. I'm like, oh yeah, that's neat. But there was one chapter in there that is from the other book that I couldn't change. So that was a weird challenge because I had to write up to that chapter, but then that chapter had to stay exactly the same and I couldn't change anything.
Oh, that's always frustrating.
Yeah. But yeah, the new one's out in March, hopefully, February or March. That's the goal. And if anybody wants to buy a copy, go to my website. It's gregenslen.com. And I have a little store on there, and you can buy the books with your credit card, and then I'll ship it to you for free shipping.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and they're also in the libraries in the local area. They're in the Dayton Library, and they're in the Tipp Library, and then they're also available for sale at various bookstores in the area, J. & Mary's in Troy, Ohio, and New and Old Pages in Inglewood. But yeah, if you want to pre-order the new one, pay for it ahead of time, then I'll ship it to you the day it comes out.
Perfect.
That's the best way to get it.
Yeah.
Fastest way.
It's a great book, so
Thank you.
You're going to want to read it. So coming back to the whole Frank Harper's and tour.
Yes.
You know,
you definitely want a tour of Frank
Harper. Do, because
I don't have time for that.
Well, okay.
But
so next year.
I did add on the website, my website, I do have a page for Frank Harper of all the real locations in Tipp City and how they correspond with the fake locations in Cooper's Mill by book.
Okay.
So that's that.
I didn't know that. I'm going to have to go discover that.
Yeah, it's fun.
But what I really want to incorporate is next year, 2026, Ohio is celebrating the Ohio 250
Centennial.
Yeah, that's why I let you say that.
It's some big word.
But one of the themes for the months, because each month is themed for 2026, one is featuring local authors.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that would be so
cool.
fun to feature Frank Harper that month in Tipp City.
We'll do a walking tour
to
the downtown, and I'll point at things and to both the people that show up. It's just you and me walking around downtown.
Talking about Frank
Harper, and you're like, oh, that's over there. And I'm like, yep, that's over there. Well, thank you. Thank you for being the host on this episode.
Thanks for letting me interview you. It's been so much fun.
Oh, thank you. And I'm excited about it. And if anybody's interested in buying the book, it's at gregenslen.com.
Yeah, start with that Frank Harper series. I highly recommend.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. And we'll talk soon.